Hi, I'm Tim. Join me in this video as I reveal to you what may be possibly the world's best RC trainer airplane. Let's get to it. Every pilot, whether a civilian starting off in Cessnas, militaries on the T-51, or RC pilots, you've got to begin at the beginning of your flight training career. That means the first airplane that you're going to fly is a trainer. The manufacturers, plane developers, creators understand this. There are a wide variety of trainer aircraft, some small, some big. They share similar characteristics, usually a straight wing, constant chord. And they are designed to fly easily so that you can learn how to fly. With this channel, and I've been flying a lot this summer at the field, I get a lot of questions from people, well, what is a good trainer? And the answer is, there's no set answer. What's a good trainer? Do you like the larger aircraft? Do you like smaller ones? What I like is an airplane that's very easy to fly and can sustain damage because you're probably going to have a hard landing or a crash at some point. As I was flying this E-flite Radian UMX, the UMX stands for Ultra Micro. I bought this on my own. It was not given to me by the manufacturer. I have really come to appreciate this airplane's flying qualities and handling, and I think I can make the argument it makes for a very good trainer. The reason I say that is it's got plenty of power with a little built-in motor. It is inexpensive. It weighs, it costs just $100. The batteries are these little single-cell lipos that cost between $4 and $5. You can easily get 3 or 4 of them, charge them up, and bring them to the field. But what I like, and you'll see this in the videos, is the plane handles very well, and you can fly it close in. So as you're learning how to fly, instead of the model being way off in the distance and you're not quite sure what the control inputs are doing, you can actually watch the control inputs on this with pitch and turning. It's a 3-channel model with elevator, rudder, and throttle. And also you can fly very close in, so it's a light aircraft, handles well, you can watch all your control inputs as you're flying in. And the other bonus is it has AS3X technology built in. AS3X is automatic stabilization in 3 axes. I'll have a card up here, a link in the description. And what AS3X is some magic built into the electronics where it can sense changes in attitude due to wind and apply instantly very small corrections to the elevator and rudder that have the effect of smoothing out the flight in fairly turbulent air. It sounds a little bit strange, and I wasn't sure about it when I first started studying AS3X, but it honest to God works. This little airplane, even on windy days, I can see it kind of going up and down, but the AS3X makes it very controllable. It's not an autopilot, it just smooths it out. And I think it's a good help for beginner flyers because you don't have to battle the wind as much, and you can do your training flights in more turbulent wind conditions. What I'm going to point out on these little single cell batteries, which are very popular with the smaller models, typically you'll get one of these chargers where the battery just plugs in and you plug this into a USB port of a computer. What I found, what I purchased was this charger from Amazon. You've got to kind of check around and make sure that these 2 USB ports can accept power for charging. Some are just for the USB drive, not for the powering. But you can very easily put in your 2 batteries here. I plug it into a electrical outlet so it gets the power directly. The batteries charge up very quickly. I typically go to the field with 4 batteries. They're all charged up and you're ready to go with this methodology. What I'd like to do now is show you the control inputs on this plane. A reminder, with this airplane, if you look closely inside, you can see the little red light on, which means it's powered on. And so this is powered up. It's important that if you plug in a battery on this with the transmitter off, after about 5 seconds, it'll start flashing going into the bind mode. So once it's binded to a transmitter, very important to turn on the transmitter first so you can plug in the battery. It'll it'll connect automatically for control. It will not go into the bind mode. So here's the elevator. It's really quite amount of movement there with the rudder. Very good hinges, which are important for a plane like this. But notice that the AS3X is not on. What energizes or activates the AS3X is we apply some throttle. So I'm going to apply a little bit of throttle. If you can hear that chatter, that is the AS3X doing very small control inputs to the elevator and rudder, going up and down and simulating turbulence. And so that chatter is absolutely normal. You can see there's just plenty of power for this model. The model weighs 1.5 ounces with the battery. One very important thing on landings, obviously there's no landing gear. Just go ahead and reduce the throttle to idle so you don't hit the ground with a running propeller. I've been flying this thing for a year and I haven't lost a propeller yet. Let's take a look quickly at the Horizon Hobby website, where it has a description of the airplane, the other things you need like a transmitter, and the price for $99. Remember, Horizon will not, or E-flite will not offer this airplane forever. At some point it'll be discontinued. It's usually able to find other ones on eBay, Amazon, or Google Shopping. This is a view of the Horizon Hobby website with the UMX Radian. Very nice website. I like their redesign. See some pictures of the model. These pictures track exactly what the real model is like. You just take it out of the box and fly, essentially. There's just very little to do. Note that with mine, I did cover it with park light covering just for a different look. They also offer transmitters that could work with this. If you don't have a transmitter, I've been using a DX6 for the past 3 years. Love it. They have batteries as well as the chargers. These chargers are fine. The one I showed you on Amazon just plugs into a power system, works fine as well. So let's take a look at the Radian in-flight out of the RC field. So we're back at the field. It's a very nice day here in January, no wind. And what I'm going to do is, as I mentioned, this is a very reasonable trainer because we can fly it very close in and watch our control inputs as the airplane flies. It's a very responsive airplane, 3 channels, but it's something to consider for a primary trainer. But let's take it up for a flight now. So here we are with the flight. The model just flies out of your hand. You can see there's plenty of power. It just climbs up very quickly. That's always nice for the trainer. I'll keep this deliberately a little bit lower. You can see here right on the edge of the stall, just to show you how slow the airplane, the Radian, can fly. A little bit more power, steadier flight. With a trainer, you clearly want to be 2 mistakes high, but this is an example of just how positive the control is. And when you're flying close in and slow to you, I think you get a better training outcome with your RC trainer because you can see all your control inputs, and it just, you get instant feedback to how you're doing. Plus, as I mentioned, the model is so lightweight, if you do crash and you're going to at some point with the trainer, there's just going to be minimal damage. The one thing I always emphasize is if you see a plane going down with no landing gear, try to discipline yourself to reduce the throttle to idle so that you don't break the prop off the model. But overall, just a very pleasant, easy to fly airplane. I think the Radian would make an ideal trainer for anybody. So it was a nice little flight. I was kind of exaggerating to make a point. I was on the edge of a stall for a lot of it at the beginning, but it's very easy to control. It's got plenty of power to get it out of a slow flight situation, and you can keep it close in to you. And so there's confidence in flying it. You're not going to damage anything if you crash because it's such a lightweight model. You saw the landing. And it's fun just to keep it within sight, to watch all your control inputs. And it's just it's an interesting aspect of learning how to fly with a trainer where the model's just not off in the distance. You can watch all your control inputs. So the Radian, give it a shot. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Getting the right trainer is very important. There's any number of trainers out there. I enjoy flying trainers just for their slow flight characteristics. I think the Radian is worthy of consideration to have in your stable. You just put it in the car. There's no assembly required. It flies. It's an honest airplane. It absolutely flies well. And with a slow flight, close-in flight, you can kind of watch all your control inputs. I think it'll make you a better RC pilot at the beginning.